President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Monday morning hosted a section of leaders from the parliament led by National Assembly Leader of Majority Kimani Ichung'wah and his Senate counterpart Aaron Cheruiyot to establish a framework by the bipartisan approach recommended by the President. Ruto has asked the parliamentary leadership of both houses to consider a bipartisan approach to address the matters raised by the opposition as a priority. Our very own Bishop Jr. brings us more.
Less than 24 hours after President William Ruto and his political brother Raila Odinga addressed the public, receding their hardline stance on several political matters that threatened to stall the country's socio-economic progress, President William Ruto on Monday, April 3rd, summoned the leader of the majority in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, to State House. During their meeting, Ruto instructed Ichung'wah and his Senate counterpart Aaron Cheruiyot to establish a framework for the bipartisan approach to address some of the issues raised by Mr. Odinga. He formally presented the proposal to the Kenya Kwanza leadership in the National Assembly and the Senate. Taking to his social media, the president wrote, quote, "We have asked the parliamentary leadership of both houses to consider our proposal for a bipartisan approach to addressing the matters raised by the opposition as a priority. We are convinced the issues shall be conclusively handled by Parliament in order to allow us to focus on our economic transformation program." End of quote. Other leaders present were the Deputy Leader of the Majority, Owen Baya, and the Whip of the Majority, Silvanus Osoro, and his Deputy, Naomi Wako. The Senate was represented by Deputy Leader of the Majority, Tabitha Karanja, and Deputy Minority Whip, Itembesi Lelegwe. Ruto's meeting came a day after he asked Odinga to call off the ongoing mass action protests to pave way for dialogue on some of the concerns he raised.
In view of the recent events that led to loss of life and destruction of property in the demonstrations that have occasioned in our country for the last 2 weeks, I urge my brother Raila Odinga and the opposition to call off the demonstrations.
The former premier accepted the olive branch extended by the head of state, who offered to address the matter on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission in Parliament.
In view of the foregoing, we stand down our demonstrations for Monday.
However, Odinga demanded an immediate response from the president and noted that he would recall the demonstrations if no efforts were taken or if the process did not yield any fruit.
Should there be no meaningful engagement or response from Hon Ruto to our counter-offer, we resolve to resume our demonstrations after 1 week.
Odinga also demanded the immediate release and dropping of charges of all those who were arrested during the mass action protests.
I've said several times that demonstrations, picketing, processions, petitions are enshrined in our Constitution, and therefore they are not criminal. We have also said we as Azimio have never organized criminals to vandalize businesses of innocent, hardworking Kenyans. This is the work of our distractors.
The truce between the two leaders came amid pressure from religious leaders and foreign powers who pushed for dialogue in order to restore peace in the country.
And we want him as a symbol of national unity to continue providing unity and to provide the nation with a tone from the top.
Nikasema wasishurutishwe ya kwamba ni lazima wakutane. Hawa ni watu wa umri, hawa ni watu ambao wako zaidi ya miaka 18, ni adults. Hawa ni watu wana ujuzi kwa mambo mingi. Hawa ni watu ambao wanaelewa Kenya kwa undani na nje. Na pia president wetu ni mtu ambaye ameenda kwa mambo mengi ya kisiasa tangu utotoni wake, tangu mwaka wa 92 niliposimama katika eneo nikitafuta kura. Yeye alikuwa yuko kwa IK, amekuwa kwa college ya uongozi kwa muda mrefu. Na nikasema sio sawa washurutishwe, ni lazima wakutane. Nikajua itafika pahali watakutana.
For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, Ambusha Junior.